the Bet Halevi, entry 22. He says, Derech Hayashar Bet Sa'ar. He says, this is the guidance for when you're in suffering. Zotorat Adam Yashar, the Yashar, upstanding person. What should he do? When you have stress, when God forbid you have a shortage of money, what should you do? What's the right ishtadlut? So people will tell you, well, you gotta do more ishtadlut. You gotta go get another job. You gotta go find another way to make money. You gotta have passive income. You gotta go and find other methods. You gotta go invest. You gotta make phone calls. You gotta run around. So what does he say? No. Lo yarbe b'ishtadluto. You should not increase your ishtadlut, right? But before we said, right, that sometimes ishtadlut is harmful, right? So he says, what should you do instead? Yifashfesh b'ma'asav ashelo tovim shvivu lo kol zeh. You have to examine your improper deeds, and that's why that brought you to this situation. Your deeds is what brought you to this situation. Therefore, the way out is to check yourself and to check if you have any sins. As the sages say, Adam roe Adam yisurim b'ayim alav yifashvesh ma'asav. The sages tell us in Masechet Brachot, if you see person sees that all his afflictions, any affliction is coming to him, you should know he should investigate his deeds. So people will tell you, you got to work more, you got to make more money, you got to go and make some more phone calls, you got to run around. No, that's the surface layer. You got to touch the root. What's the root? The root is you got to check your deeds, check yourself, and make sure that you have everything in order. As we know, the Gemara Masechet Brachot says a story, right, where Rav Huna came and he complained that all his barrels of wine turned into vinegar. And we asked the rabbis in the yeshiva what to do. What did they tell him? Did they tell him, did you put it in a cool place, there was the right temperature, or maybe you didn't put it in the right barrels? They didn't say none of that. What did they right away say? Check yourself. Maybe you did a sin. They found out that he stole from his sharecropper, right? And the ganav from ganav, tosha ganav. So it ended up being that right away, the source is the sins and the mitzvot. V'yashuv ma'asav ra'im, he should go to retract from his evil ways. He should pour your supplications before HaKadosh Baruch Hu and ask him to rescue you from your distress. As we know, the sages say, the sages say, what should a person do to become rich? You have your business guidance from the Gemara. What does the Gemara say is a surefire way to become rich? You got to pray to the one who wealth and property belongs to. And who is that? Kadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, a person has to make sure to realize that the wealth comes from Hashem. And if you're doing ishtadlut, that's normal and healthy, and it's still not enough for you, that means that you have something inside of you that's blocking you. The shefa is there. Hashem could give the shefa. Hashem gives to the African elephant in the zoo and in the tundra, and He gives them, and they only eat and drink and sleep and go to the bathroom, and Hashem gives them what they need. Hashem can't give you what you need. You have a relationship with Him. How much more so? Rather, the reason is He's not sending the shefa. He's sending the shefa, but you probably put an obstacle, and you probably put a blockage. There's a clog. You made a dirty clog. You put dirt down the drain and it clogged it up. So what do you got to do? You got to clean it out and make it open by doing teshuvah. יחזק ליבו ביטחונו ותקוותו בו יתברך ויקבע ליבו שבלעדו יתברך אין לו ממי ונקש עזרה. He should confirm in his heart there's no one else besides Hashem who can help you. So therefore a person has to know that the way that the Hashem works is if parnasah is not coming, or if you're having some stress, some problem that's not normal, you should know that this is a message from Hashem. Hashem wants your attention. Well, that's why a lot of Hasidim, they're very into saying thank you Hashem. The Hasidic masters say you have to say thank you to Hashem, even for your problems. Why should you say thank you for Hashem? Morning, because the person is to know that a lot of times, why does Hashem make you suffer? He wants your attention. He wants you to change your ways. He wants you to realize that Hashem's in charge. Sometimes people think their money came from their kochi otzem yadi, from my strength and my abilities and my skills. Yeah, I made this money. I'm successful. I'm skillful. I know what kind of job I have. I went to school. Of course, it makes sense I should make money. And they think that they do it, and not HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives it to them. So what happens? All of a sudden, things come up to them that's not in their control. All of a sudden, he made this big investment. On paper, it makes sense that he should get his return, and he didn't. All of a sudden, this came up in the project. He never thought this would come up, and all of a sudden it came up. The chances of this are very slim, and I'm the one guy it happened to. Why? There's a reason. Hashem is making this come to you for a reason, and therefore you start realizing you're not in control. And when you start realizing you're not in control, then you start turning to Hashem, you start changing your ways, you start doing teshuvah, and Hashem says, I got your attention, now you're going to realize it comes from me. So when you say thank you to Hashem, what are you showing to Hashem? Hashem, I see the suffering, thank you Hashem. I know everything's from you. The whole idea of making me suffer was to get my attention. Right away, here, I gave you my attention. I said thank you, now you have my attention. Hashem, take away the suffering. I already got my attention. The suffering is to get my attention. I already gave it to you. So if a person has to know that the way to be successful in business or to get out of stress is right away to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to do teshuvah shelema.